So apparently I'm 2 for 2 here today. Forgot to record an intro and I forgot to record us walking to deliver this order, but we're up to 525. Next order we're going to take is a Subway. Subways are so easy as long as they are not super busy, so definitely watch out for those around noon time. Noon gets very busy and a lot of those orders end up backed up, so just be cautious and watch out for that. Now, one of the things you want to make sure that when you are doing this, make sure that you have arrived at the store, super important. And when I come in, I always check in, make sure if there's a rack showing that there are items available, which there were. And now they did not have sodas with it. So when I looked at the app, I asked the girl, I said, now with Subway, are they cups of soda? Or are they the bottles? And she said with their app, at least at this store, they always insist on the bottles, just for obviously safety reasons, which I actually really like. I think that's a great way to do it. So she went and got me a bag so that it'd be easier for me to carry those drinks. And so all I had to do was literally pick those out of the cooler. So it was a Diet Coke and a Sprite. And then once I had those items, I went ahead and I'm going to tie the bag closed. I'm going to go ahead and take it back to the car, and then we'll put it in our bag to keep the sandwiches warm, because two of them, the two subs that were in there were warm. There was chips, so they don't need to be warm. And then the beverages. So super easy pickup. So let's go ahead and get this delivered. Now this Subway was extremely close, so we're going to go ahead and make sure we got everything, get it out of the little red bag, and we're going to go ahead and complete this order. This one they did ask us to drop it on the back porch, so just make sure that you have your camera ready. Again, that's a great tip to get these orders completed faster, because obviously the faster the order, the more money you make, the faster you can get another one. This is spring break week, so DoorDash is really slow today. So is Uber Eats. So it's a very odd day, but we've got one for Chick-fil-A, so we're going to go ahead and pick this up. And as you can see, there was the base pay, $3.75. There was a special $1.50 peak pay, which we'll take that. And then the consumer added a $2 tip. That makes it $7.25. So let's go ahead and see if this order is ready. Every time I come in the store, I always see this, start your day with a little sunshine. It always just kind of makes me smile when I see it. All right, let's see. I don't see any orders in the delivery driver section, so we will have to see if they are working on it. They were working on a huge catering, looks like one. They took out, I'm not kidding you, probably around 60, I think, boxes of all packed up Chick-fil-A. So I'm sure that's why. And I just wanted to tell the customer that right now they are currently packing up the order. So I always try and stay in communication with them. I think it's important, especially when you're stuck temporarily at a restaurant, so they know it's not you. You know, you're trapped right now. You're kind of waiting for them to complete the order. Communication is key. The other thing I do, if it gets over a certain amount of time, down at the bottom of the DoorDash app, you can mark if the order was ready for you. You could mark if they were still working on it. You could mark if they made it right when you arrived. So it's really important to stay on top of that, because you want to make sure that you are communicating with DoorDash to explain why the order wasn't just picked up and gone, because oftentimes DoorDash will have a time associated that it says you have to pick it up by this time, and it says you have to drop it off at that time. And so those numbers really can affect your rate. And unfortunately, sometimes there are things that are out of your control. So definitely worth it to watch that. Keep an eye and just make sure that you are on track. Considering they had the large catering order, it was very quick that he had everything all ready for me. So I was able to take this order, tell them I picked it up, and off we go. Super easy. Again, they're pretty quick at this restaurant, so I never doubt that it's going to take very long. But it's always worth it to be patient and understanding. And I'll tell you, a little bit of kindness goes a very long way. So this delivery was actually going to a private school. When delivering to schools, a lot of them are obviously in lockdown to keep the kids safe, so it's important that you text whomever is getting the order to make sure they know to come and let you in, or wherever we need to go. And so the person had said, not a problem, just go to door number 1. So I said, cool, on my way. Went over to door number 1, and they didn't buzz me in. So I was like, okay, I don't want to leave it right here, right? Because they said there is a table when you first go in, and everything was locked. So I was kind of like, I can see the table. I know where it needs to go. And over here at the next door, there was somebody standing, and I'm guessing they were on a break or something. I'm not sure. But I asked her, I said, I can't deliver. Where do I go and deliver the food? And she said, oh, you go back over there, and there's a random little gray button on the side. So I guess my word to anyone ordering, just be clear on your messaging as to where you want us to deliver things. Or if you tell me there's a button on the door, by all means, I'll look for that. But you can see by the time I walked over there, they had already pushed the button, let me in. So let's go ahead and drop this off. We'll get a picture taken, and we'll keep on moving. The next order we took was for Instacart. DoorDash and Uber Eats literally died. So it's for $15.47. A 5.1 mile delivery, super close. And we had to pick, it was about 10 items, super fast. So let's go ahead and we will get some of these items. One of the things we love about Instacart is that it's a set dollar amount. So we kind of have a quick, find all this stuff and you're good to go. And it's kind of a fun, I like the Instacart because it always feels like supermarket sweep, like go and find the items. So super easy to do, scan them in as we go. And we were lucky on this trip because we were able to find everything that we needed. So that's great. So a couple of tips while you are shopping, especially in the produce section. A lot of people with Instacart will add a lot of produce. So a couple of things, double check for the firmness of the fruit or vegetable. You know, if it's an avocado or peaches, they should be slightly soft but not mushy. You know, definitely watch for the right color. Check that the produce is actually the right color for what it should be. So tomatoes, the deeper the red. Bananas should be mostly yellow. Pay attention and make sure the produce is the right size. And that one is a best tip kind of practice, especially on Instacart. If you pull, let's say for example, these grapes, they were about 3 pounds. And if I look in the app, the person only wanted 2 pounds. If I go over or under, it can adjust or mess up basically the tip, depending on if they paid it based off of the dollar amount. I have had it before where I've gone way under because that's all that's available. And it may only reduce your tip by a very small amount. But again, if you're expecting X amount of dollars, you know, just make sure you try and get them as close to possible, right? The other thing to do is definitely consider the season that you're shopping in. Not all produce is in its best quality or taste. The other thing to watch for when shopping for produce or items, if they have an expiration date on them, make sure you watch for that. You'd be really surprised how often on accident a bag of lettuce, for example, that maybe expires tomorrow is in the front, and then behind it there's 10 of them that expire in a week. So I always try and take the ones that are farther out for my customers, just because I know I would rather have a little extra time with the vegetables. So we're going to go ahead and pick the last 2 items, and then we're going to check out and get this order delivered. The next order that we got was for Woodman's. Again, this was with Instacart. Now, the only reason why we even take some of these Instacarts, we try to watch. This one was for $22.52. Now, it was a little higher, but during our produce pick, just like we talked about before, they didn't have everything they wanted, so it brought down the total overall, which then brought down the tip, because they did the tip based on the order, which is fine. I mean, we did the best we could, but it was all they had. Now this one, again, I believe this one had 12 items, so super fast, great tip. And especially when we go to like Woodman's, because it's a really busy store, and they are in the process of reorganizing all the maps. So literally we were flying blind, if you will. Now we knew the store, so that helped. The other thing is that this one literally had about, out of those 12 items, I think 6 of them were replacement items. So I felt kind of bad because they were not what the customer really wanted. But one of the tricks that I always do, as you can see here, there were 4 different kinds of cookies. And of course they had 3 out of the 4. So I sent her a picture and said, well, here's the other 3 that are available. Since I'm out shopping, would you prefer one of these? And she came back and said, oh, this is a great replacement. Yes, please go ahead and provide that one. And so I will. But it's one of those that, you know, definitely think about it, because it will help keep your total much higher, rather than just refunding. Because when you refund, if they tip based off of that, then your tip comes down as well. So for today, we did about 65 minutes worth of work, and that was from start to finish, which works out to about $55.74, which rounds out to about 0.857538 per minute. And the reason we do that is so that we can figure out, is it really worth our time whenever we're out doing this. And again, this works out then to about $51.45 an hour. Now again, this only works because we were using more than one app. If we just stayed on DoorDash, we weren't getting a whole lot of orders, again, with spring break. The other thing you always have to calculate in is remember to include the cost of gas, your car insurance, your phone, etc. Because just because I say $51 doesn't mean that $51 is my actual take home. Remember, you have to put away money for taxes, and then all of these other things get included in that as well. Although $51.45 for 65 minutes is not bad, and it kept us moving. Well, thank you so much for watching our videos. I hope that you like our new format. Again, we are continuing to evolve this channel, so be sure to go ahead and subscribe. We are working our way toward 100 and would love to have you join us. And then I've added a few more videos for you to go ahead and watch. Thank you again for watching MouldofSteel.com. We'll see you again soon.